Cheer. You guys are now listening to the Mr. Sanchez Show. I'm your host, Mr. Sanchez. I got my co-host in the back, the young producer, Young Glizzy on the ones and twos. What up, Glizzy? How's it going?
Yeah.
Everything good? My week was good. It was my birthday week. Big Taurus energy, Taurus season in the house, you know what I'm saying? I turned 44, another year around the sun, and I'm happy. I feel good. Every year that passes, I feel like it's a blessing. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on borrowed time and I'm progressing. You know what I'm saying? Physically, mentally, spiritually, I'm progressing. I'm becoming a better person, a better man. And shout out to everybody who told me happy birthday. I appreciate all the love I got on Facebook, Instagram, personal messages from family members, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. I had a good birthday. All right. Moving on in the topics, right? So the topics is being swarmed by the Diddy trial. You know, Diddy, his lawyers, they asked for a speedy trial, and I think that was a mistake. You know what I mean? I think they needed more time to prepare. And when I saw their star witness, which is Cassie Ventura, she's preggo. She's like 9 months preggo. She's about to pop. And I think that looks bad for the defense, right? Because now you have a 9-month pregnant woman on the stand saying that you committed all these atrocities against her. And I feel like that's going to sway the jury. You know what I mean? But, you know, a lot of nasty stuff is coming out about the details of their relationship and the freak offs, you know what I'm saying? And I saw her husband went into the courtroom, and I think that's nasty work. You know what I mean? Like, if I was her husband, I would have sat out, because, you know, she's basically, you know, she's detailing what they were doing during those orgies. You know, there was an escort who said that Cassie asked him to urinate on her. And there was another one that was like saying that, you know, she would get the other escort's semen, and that Diddy would like tell her to rub it on him. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine being the husband listening to that, you know, that the escort urinated in her mouth and, like, you know, all that other stuff. Like, that's my wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't hear that. I understand he gave her a couple $100 million to shut up, and they're living good right now. You know, they're high off the hog. They're eating high off the hog, and they're living a good life. But I think that would be hard for any man to stomach and listen to that. He actually stormed out of the court hearing, and I understand 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they've had conversations between them, and she's told him all the things before. But for it to come out publicly, that's crazy. And I don't know if he's going to be able to beat these charges. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that, you know, the luminaries are the ones going after Diddy, because, you know, he sued that alcohol company for billions of dollars, and he won for racism. So a lot of people saying there's no way out for him. He's going down. I don't know. You know, the defense they're making a good point that Cassie was in on it, that she was a willing participant. She is, you know, there's testimony of her telling the escorts what to do to her, how to do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's up in the air right now. Let's see what happens. Diddy's not looking so good. He's aged a lot. You know, I understand when you're a billionaire and you got money, you could be outside and you got a stylist and they can paint your hair. You got a barber that goes everywhere with you. You probably have like a regimen of skincare or whatever. But he's looking his age right now. You know what I mean? And if he blows trial, if he's found guilty, he's going to do about 20 plus years. You know what I mean? He's got all-star legal team, but let's see how it goes. All right, moving on to next topic, we got Tory Lanez. Now, as you guys know, Tory Lanez is currently incarcerated in a California prison, which might be one of the worst prison systems to be in. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, you know, California prison is it's hard. It's gang dominated. There's a lot of politics. You really can't fly under the radar in there. You have to get down with, you know, a team of people. You know, you can't really be a lone wolf over there. And he is like in protective custody because he was a celebrity or whatever. But the dynamics of the California prison system changed, where when they go to the yard, you have PC inmates with general population. So from what I was able to investigate, what was going on is that there was beef between the Mexicans and the Muslims, right? And Tory was taking really good care of his people in there because he has a lot of money. You know what I mean? So he became Muslim in there, and every Christmas he would bless all the inmates, his people, with commissary, food. So everybody had cell phones, everybody had food. Everybody was well taken care of if they were down with Tory. So there was like a race riot a week before, from what I understand, and the Mexican gang targeted Tory because he was a powerful member of his community in there. You know what I'm saying? If they take him out, they're able to hurt them financially, and any other way that he is contributing. It also looks really bad on the prison system because he's such a high profile inmate. You know what I mean? And they didn't attack him. They didn't try to cut him. They try to unalive him. You know what I'm saying? He got hit 14 times, 7 in the torso, 3 in the neck, 2 in the head. Both of his lungs are collapsed. You know what I mean? And a very savage, a very brutal attempt on his life. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to affect him long term. I know right now he's in critical condition. He is stable, from what I understand. Both of his lungs are collapsed. If you guys know how that works, I don't think he's going to be able to sing anymore, because when you get one lung collapsed, you kind of speak like that. If you got both lungs collapsed, I don't know if you'll ever be able to get your voice back. You know what I'm saying? So, prison is like that. You could go to prison. Some people think, oh, I got a 5-year sentence, like I'll be home soon, this and that. But you have to survive prison. You could go with a 5-year sentence and end up dying in your first year. You could go with a 5-year sentence and you could defend yourself in a life-threatening situation, unalive somebody else, and do the rest of your life in there. So, all prayers go out to Tory Lanez. I hope he makes a full recovery, and I hope he gets out of this situation. Now, in breaking news today, if you guys know the Tory Lanez situation, it was a situation between him, this woman named Kelsey Harris, and Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion says that he shot her. Basically, he shot her in the foot. And he was convicted of that crime through testimony and other things. But today, new evidence came out where the security guard, who was a bodyguard for Kelsey, after he heard what happened to Tory, I guess he had a change of heart. He had some kind of revelation, and he came out today publicly saying that it was Kelsey Harris who was shooting the shots, that Tory grabbed the gun from her. There was a struggle for the gun, and two more shots were let go during the struggle. One of them ricocheted off the floor and hit Megan in the foot. And from what Megan understands is that he's the one who shot her. Then now the security guard is saying that it was Kelsey. Let's see if maybe Tory could get a new trial over that. If you're a prosecutor, you got to do the right thing. If you never heard that testimony before, maybe it's time to indict Kelsey Harris for the shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. Hopefully justice is served and, the right thing happens. You know what I mean? Moving on. All right, Knicks, the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are going to the semifinals. Now, I'm not a big Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? I was when I was younger, but my childhood friends were Knicks fans. I grew up in New York, but, like Michael Jordan was always my hero. I did have a Patrick Ewing jersey when I was younger. I liked them, but, my childhood friends would troll me about the Knicks and stuff like that, and I was always, a Bulls fan growing up. And then when I moved to Miami, I became a Heat fan because my cousin was really into the Heat. We started going to games. We started, if you live in Miami, Heat games are a big thing. You want to go to the arena. You want to go to Flanagan's. You want to go to a sports bar. You go, you drink, you watch the games. You know what I'm saying? I've been to some finals games when we had when we had the big three. Before that, we had Shaq and Wade. I went to the finals games. I enjoyed it. So now they're like, oh, you moved to Miami. Now you're a Heat fan. You're a trader, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I'd go back and forth with them, tell them how the Knicks suck. Fuck the Knicks. I remember one time I went to a Heat game, and there was more Knicks fans at the Heat game than there were Heat fans. And they won in a close game. And all the Knicks fans were talking shit to us on the way out of the game. Like fighting words, you know what I'm saying? Like they were ruthless. Knicks fans are ruthless. They are very passionate fans. So, I've always had a bad taste in my mouth for the Knicks, but they haven't won a championship since I think 1976 or 1978. So I'm kind of happy for them that they're doing good. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for the Knicks fans because they haven't had anything to be happy about since and to be excited about since the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Or, you had the Jeremy Lin kid. He had the Lin Sanity thing going on for a long time. So, they're on Instagram. I like to see the posts. I like to see the aggressive New York Knicks fans talking shit. They got a hard team to beat. They're up 3-1 against Boston. Boston has like 16 championships or something like that. And their fans are also very intense. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks got this guy. He's the truth, bro. Jalen Brunson. He is a savage. He's the real deal. And he's leading his team to victory. So shout out to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Knicks fans. While I don't like you guys, I'm happy for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you. All right, moving on. We got the Heat, bro. The Heat, we had the NBA draft, and the Miami Heat got like the 11th pick, right? So that's not too good. But we were supposed to get between the first and fourth pick in the draft if we had blown the last couple games that we played, right? But we didn't. We played to win, we won, and now we got dropped down to the 11th pick. And Heat fans and people are mad. They're asking for Pat Riley's retirement because it was a bad decision to win those games. I know you should always play to win, but strategically, they should have blown those last two games, lost that series, and they would have had a first-round draft pick instead of the 11th round. So let's see if the Heat can turn things up. Losing Jimmy Butler was bad for us. I don't know why Pat Riley couldn't smooth that over. You know what I'm saying? I understand he's the Pingu of the Heat, and, in Pat we trust, but maybe it's time for him to go. You know what I'm saying? You guys let me know. All right, now we got Kanye's new song. It is the most canceled song in history. This song has been, if you guys haven't heard it, it's hard to find right now because it's been banned everywhere. But if you go to YouTube, you put Kanye HH, you go to upload date, and then you'll find it because people are constantly uploading it and YouTube is clapping it. So if you guys haven't heard it yet, it's on there. And I mean, the song kind of, it's crazy. It's a crazy song. But it's like catchy, right? If you're a fan of Kanye's music, you can hear it and go, wow, that song's pretty good. But of course, what it says is so polarizing that you can't bump it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be in your car listening to that. It's crazy. But I think them trying to cancel one of the most prolific music producers in the world was kind of like a bad deal, right? Because you make an enemy like that, and he can literally make a hit song to piss you off. You know what I mean? And that's what he's doing. I don't really think he's promoting the guy he's talking about. We're not going to say the guy's name. You guys know who it is. I don't think he's promoting it. I think he's just proving the double standard, right? He's basically, what he's saying is that, you guys can profit off of our pain. You know what I mean? The black plight in America. You guys will promote our music as long as we're talking about death, destruction of our people, of our communities, of each other. But if I start talking about your pain, then you guys will not support it, and you guys will cancel me over it. So I don't really think he's promoting that ideology. I think he's just trying to prove a point in his own twisted kind of way. You know what I mean? But, the comments about the song are pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? There's comments. They're funny. You know what I mean? If you guys look into it, it's funny. Let's see what happens. I don't know how much time Kanye has around. It kind of looks like he's on a downward spiral. You know what I'm saying? I hope he gets better. I don't know the answers to what he's going through or what, but I do worry for him. I worry for his mental health and his safety and where all this is going to end. I don't see it ending in a positive way. I see it ending in a tragic way. So, pray for Kanye and his mental health and him as a person. You know what I mean? Moving on. Trump makes a trade deal with the UK and China. You know what I'm saying? So the tariffs are working. You know what I mean? The country, I believe, is going in a positive direction. Now, the economy, as far as cash in people's hands, I don't see it where it needs to be at, right? People are still struggling financially. Even though, I filled up my gas tank at $2.49. Cost me $40 to fill up my Yukon Denali. It usually costs me $80. You know what I'm saying? And, mortgage rates are going down. The price of homes are still kind of too high to buy. But, inflation is down. And I think we're heading in the right way, in the right direction. For now, it looks like Shein and Temu are safe. Shein and Temu is kind of like what all people are worried about, is what they're talking about. A lot of girls are like, oh, he's messing up my Shein, my Temu shit. I get all my stuff from there, blah, blah, blah. For now, we got to deal with China. Let's see where that goes. As far as the deals, it's more fair, and it's more of like they can buy some American-made products now, which before we couldn't. Now it looks like we're going to be selling more cars internationally. We're going to be selling more planes, more technology that we come up with and stuff like that, which is going to help boost U.S. manufacturing and stuff. So let's see. He also made a deal with Qatar, a $1.2 trillion economic investment Donald Trump secured for America. Also, Boeing jets, vehicles, and the deal is basically spanning aviation, energy, and quantum technology. So I don't really know what quantum technology means exactly. Maybe it's AI. From what I understand, quantum means it's like a measure of things. You got grams, milligrams, ding, 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 boom, 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 quantum. It's like small. That's basically what I got. And it's going to make the U.S. and Qatar a key ally to the United States, which is good because we're kind of beefing with Iran right now. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like we're going to get more allies in the Middle East. And I think they're a good ally to have. They have all the money in the world. And hopefully we can improve our country. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I got. I'm out of topics. The podcast and the channel has broke 100,000 views. I believe we're at 117,000 right now. So a lot of those views come from our loyal base and new people. So shout out to all the new people who are watching. Guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button like you guys are doing. It's helping us, you know what I'm saying? It gives me and Glizzy motivation to keep on going, keep on doing our thing. We're getting a lot of positive feedback in person, and now we're starting to get positive feedback on the internet when it was mostly negative because of the polarizing things we were saying. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm in good health. I'm in good mental health. I'm in good physical health. I'm happy. I appreciate you guys. God bless. Peace.